Do you see this on day 355? This is the back of this computer that fried last night, or almost fried. There was some, ooh, that didn't sound good. Some water got underneath my laptop and it stopped working and it said corruption and all these crazy things. And I was freaking out because if this computer goes down, I have such little resources, you guys, right now that if these computers fry, I have nothing. I'm relying completely on your donations right now. I sold everything to have people believe in me that this is real. I'm not tricking you. I'm not doing this for limelight. I'm not doing this for selfish reasons. Trust me, if I wanted to take care of myself, there's a million other ways to get my kicks than this. I had a guy here tell me, "Oh, you're such an adrenaline junkie. You just love these hunger strikes." I said, "Trust me, adrenaline junkies do everything but hunger strikes because you lose everything when you're hungry. You don't have the whole adrenaline. You have the opposite. You don't even have a sex drive. Like you have to work to try and get aroused. So it's the last place you go if you want to get an adrenaline rush. And that's why hunger strikes are peaceful, is that it takes people like that who just ram around and do a bunch of drama. It makes them not dramatic. There's the genius of a hunger strike. Because as you have a movement grow, and this is what Gandhi did, as you have a movement grow and people come in, if you set that as the tone, then people want to live to that tone. And then it solves problems just by having people participate. Just by sitting still in your body and getting back in touch with your nervous system will cause you to overcome all this nervous system hijacking that we're in right now. But I am hungry. It's 21 days no food, I think today is. We need to get these 3,600 blessings quick. So I'm going to send out 1,000 emails. I'm going to try it today. And I'm going to try and use a couple of things that I've learned over the years to make it possible. So I thought I had to buy another laptop. And even if it's $100, $200 laptop, that's like the rest of my money that I have to get people into these meetings to live. And I completed the economic loop. We have something called the flow economy. So if you come to these meetings, we teach you anti-cult training so you know how to question me, the leaders, right? That's the first step that a good government does. You can tell I'm feeling the hunger. I almost couldn't sleep last night because I was thinking, what am I gonna do? So what a blessing that it's running. Like, look, it's running. They're both running. And I even cleaned the fan today, so it's running smoother. And there's like 3 years of memories on that hard drive. And my lawsuits and everything, so lesson learned. Anyway, you come in, you learn some anti-cult training in what we call the empowerment sentence. You get 4 things that empower you right away. Right away. I've never seen any organization do this before in this way. Very powerful. The essence of empowerment, not just a bunch of fluff. We've distilled the essence of what makes a human being feel like they are in control, have a say, and can be open-minded and can critique the principles of everything. You can come into Fair World Spirit and question everything. You can say, is it really fair? Fair question, right? And then the second thing that happens if you come in here is you bring one thing to share, and then we have a matching algorithm, not like these profiteering ones where they withhold things from you to pimp you basically. We're not doing that. We're saying, no, if we all work together, we're actually already in the age of abundance. We've mastered reality, material reality. Our inner reality we have not mastered, which is why it feels like hell on earth, even though we have everything. Right? And there's a lot of people who don't have everything, but we could have it that way if we shared. So what's the big problem with humanity? We don't know how to share, and we're building all these systems to compete and consume with each other, and that's what's destroying the planet and everything else. And AI too. AI is doing the same thing to us. I'm just relieved. Like, I'm hungry and I'm weak. My shoulders are tired. But I feel like I'm hopefully going to be eating in a week. It'll be 28 days, which is the max that I've gone so far. So hopefully I don't have to go past that. But When you come and you share, we have a new way of generating ideas too, so that you get credit and then you get rewarded for that. Right now in the intellectual property system, you'll never get a chance to get the idea. Like, they're so far ahead. They're like 5-10 years ahead. Every idea that you think of, they'll probably think of first, or it's already in a patent troll firm, or this is a governance model where you actually get credit for all these collective ideas, and then we pay people on that, because ideas are the generator of value. A lot of people don't know that. So these are really powerful things that I had to learn the hard way. I tried filing a patent for 10 years. I went through it all. It was painful. I'll save you the trouble. And then we give you a process that helps you generate those ideas and get into your creative mind, and not just this mechanical cog in the machine. You get to be heard. People on the bottom who are doing the actual local work, like I do when I was a blue collar worker and still am technically, you get to see what needs to improve, right? So you should be heard. That's how I felt when I was down trucking, and I said, well, this valve needs to change. Well, the people in whatever city, white collar people, and I'm white collar too, right? But they don't know what it's like day to day. So by listening on both levels, we get the optimal ideas. Wouldn't that be great? And then when you go to work, it's new, it's changing, and it'll help. It'll involve you in the conversation. All right. So even if your idea is not a good one, you'll know why. People treat you with respect and dignity, like you're a rational person that is worth treating like a human, not like an animal or a cog in the machine, okay? Are you tired of that feeling? 80% of people go to work feeling that way. 80! Trillions of dollars of lost motivation we can solve with flow states in this proper process. Very simple. If your meetings suck, your movement sucks. And we've perfected or started perfecting this model. So you can come and test it if you're tired of what's going on. Especially if AI has replaced your job already. All right, we're already at 7 minutes. World news. These hackers are using shadow AI to hack everybody. Like, banks, you guys, are on 24/7, 365-day alert. They're never going back because they're constantly being bombarded now. Constant. We have crossed the Rubicon. We have crossed a line of no return. Your life will never go back to normal now. In about 5 more months, we're going to have like 2 or 3 more versions of this super powerful AI, because they're just going full blast. Elon Musk didn't just give his Colossus, one of his Colossus clusters to Anthropic, which is the AI company that owns Cloud Mythos. He gave the entire cluster of Memphis, his entire cluster, to Anthropic. Hundreds of thousands of GPU. Like, it's full blast, you guys. These guys are racing to the death, and they're taking us with them. We need to get universal logic to them. We need to get it into our minds. We teach it in these meetings for free. If you bring one small thing to share, it's low risk in the first meeting or 2 or 3. But once you start to build trust with us, it's like, oh, you know what? I do want to share something bigger. But then somebody else does the same. They reciprocate. If you bring something medium value, they bring something medium value. And we try and match that up. And eventually, we might even get to the point where it's like, we love each other so much, we'll die for each other maybe. Which sounds kind of scary now, because we're like, no, I don't trust anybody. But in the past, it's like a family. When you really love each other, you're willing to endure huge amounts of risk and suffering because they feel like you. If they're suffering, you suffer. We've lost that connection. So we're rebuilding that. So we're not saying you're going to get there right away, because it's kind of scary. Nobody wants to die for a stranger, right? Unless you're Gandhi or me or somebody else. That's like Mother Teresa. So if you're not there yet and you're too wounded by the culture, you start small. And we create psychological safety. It's like, no, you can leave at any time. You can do anything you want. And then after that, once you start to learn the process and you start to trust it, like, yeah, this actually is the answer, then you can come and join us more seriously. Oh man, my mouth is dry. Okay, we're supposed to do some core. I'll do it quick because I want to keep these like 10 minutes or less, because I'm starting to get weak, but I'm passionate. 10 out of 10 spiritual. Okay. Fair World Spirit Core is about time compression through clarity and ego wisdom. The problem is the Megacrisis. The solution is the 2 sacred sentences. And the implementation, flow, rolls, and flocks. time compression solves all these cutting edge economic problems, by the way. They don't even know how to measure all this weird stuff going on. We do. But we're not unpacking time compression today. We're unpacking the Megacrisis still and the Metacrisis within it, right? The cultural crisis. And we talked about declining agency, meaning, trust, and coordination last time. Last one is we're talking about declining community, spirit, and love. And community is more than just transactional. It's that love feeling. It's that feeling of recognizing yourself immediately in the other. When you see yourself in the other, logically, it also has an emotion to it in universal logic. Universal logic is not dead logic, it's emotional. It's the logic of love, technically, the logic of pure wisdom. And when you have that, your negotiations with people around you become more good faith. There's more space. And we have like a new kind of insurance where if you do get screwed over because somebody's traumatized and they act out of their best nature, you get compensated and then you try again. You take the vow of abandonment for them because there's something inside of them that's triggering them from their good nature. There's goodness in everyone, but you got to look for it and you got to commit to that. And a community is that commitment to say, I've been wronged by this person. I'm going to still look for the good in them, but I'm going to set a boundary. And that boundary protects you to learn what their trigger, what that hidden variable is that's disconnecting you or how you triggered them or whatever. You're not going to be a fool. This is wise love, not blind love. All right. We make it so that you don't get hurt in the process more than you have to, right? Everybody's going to take some risk, but we're not fools. We've learned our lesson. If somebody's bashing you, you don't sit there and take it. You're not a punching bag. All right. But you set a compassionate boundary and you openly declare, this makes all the difference. You openly tell the other person, I'm going to return to the best version of you when I learn what this is. I need 1 week. I need 1 month. I need, hopefully not longer than a year, because it starts to get into abandonment after that. And then once you think about it and you ponder it, you sleep on it, your brain is integrating. We're constantly growing. So you might have an epiphany one day and say, oh, I said a trigger word. And you go back and say, hey, does this word mean this to you? And they're like, yeah, that word's terrible. And you'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And then you'll bond over that word and release the dialectical tension in it and then sublate it, which is integrated. It's a movement of pure wisdom. Okay, so that's how you build community. And the economy of this community is based on flow state. So we've reorientated the purpose of why we're together. It's not to make abstract profit, money. Money's approximating something deeper, which is an experience that we all want to have. And 80% of people know what it feels like already. It's flow state. They just don't really know how to describe it. So when you reorientate the paradigm around that purpose, everything else, the rules, the interactions, the meetings, everything else reorientates. It's a tectonic shift. And if you want to be a part of that shift, you can come to our meetings, because governments, communities happen one meeting at a time, or many meetings. They're just meetings between millions of human beings. So if your meetings are good, then everything else starts to become good, including AI that we can align with this new way. All right. That's what spirit is too, by the way. It's your mind's aligning, not in this culty groupthink way, in a critical way with these boundary settings that are wise. And then you mediate your interaction, because we're social creatures. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. In fact, you can't even become conscious without another human being to reflect on with you. It's called the mirror stage. So, all right, you become a feral child if you don't have that. If you're surrounded by dogs and trees and stuff, you don't learn to speak properly. You speak like dogs, and then your brain calcifies or crystallizes in that state, and it's hard to get out of that. All right, it's already 14 minutes, but I hope these are informative to you. It took tens of thousands. You're learning. It took me 75,000 hours to distill what I've learned into these very short messages, okay, to help you get out of the noise and into the signal. All right, the wifey update. The wifey slogan is what? If she's too hardcore wise for everybody else, she's just right for me. And maybe you have a slogan for your wife, or if you found her or him, or you're looking for physical, mental, tutoring, academic, family advice. When you come to the meetings, we allow all that to happen, because what? We can bake our vegan cake and eat it too. Personal, professional, activists all happen at once. All right. I would love to live in the mountains too. If you know anybody who has a cottage or something, I would love to go out there to the Rocky Mountains and live out there for a bit and see the majesty of the mountains and somewhere in that area. I just love it. But I feel blessed to even be down here in this basement because I'm being protected. It's a blessing. Even though I have a huge amount of prejudice towards me right now, I'm making progress to save your life, okay? And all those we care about. All right, let me take a rest here. I'm gonna send out all these emails, and the first big meeting's gonna happen. 108 people is a lot of sharing. So, wish me luck, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Stay blessed. Peace.